Previously on I'm Not a Lawyer, but the Debrief.
$20,000 or whatever, but it's documented on PayPal or whatever, him giving her money, right? 18 years later, she sues him for child support.
Oh.
And because he doesn't go through the court system,
It's a gift.
It's a gift. And now he owes her back child support for 18 years.
Even though he was giving her money.
Next time on the Debrief.
I put a parent, a mom, in jail on Thanksgiving Day behind playing with my client.
The hoochie and the spouse don't have to?
My mind is blown by this.
I said, oh, this lady got to go. And the judge agreed.
Can't wait. We can't post this episode.
Now, if you're not ready, then go ahead and tell me you're not ready.
I object to you getting records. You've been intrusive into people's personal lives.
I'm not a lawyer, but I'm not a lawyer, but
The Debrief.
hello and welcome to another episode of I'm Not a Lawyer, but
The Debrief.
I am Melanie, aka I'm Not a Lawyer, but, and I'm joined by my co-host.
Gooseby. How y'all doing?
Good.
Are you? You seem kind of
fine.
down.
I worked out and that exhausts me.
What y'all do?
So
Legs,
we are
upper body,
here to
cardio,
talk about. Well, today
Stairs.
we have. Okay,
What did y'all do?
I don't
in
know.
The gym?
I don't know. We are here on this podcast to talk about legal things, even though we're not legal experts or lawyers or anything like that. But we talk about that, and sometimes we have guests join us to give their expertise. And today we are going to be joined by Lauren the Lawyer, is how she is known on social media. She joined us last year for an episode, which was a ton of fun. She is just a fun creator, but she's an actual attorney, and she does family law, so she knows a lot about divorce cases, things like that, custody, things like that. So she filled us in on a ton of laws and things going on down in Texas where she lives. And so she's back. We ended the last episode. I think you asked a question and the way we ended was like, we'll have to answer that on the part 2. Yeah. And so it's been months, but we are here to do the part 2. So she is going to join us. I think it's appropriate to start with that part 2. You'll have to refresh all of our memories and the audience's memory about what that question was. So we'll start there. And then we have a few other things that we'll kind of cover. So it should be a good time if you are watching this now live. That means you are a part of the Patreon or a member on the YouTube channel, on my YouTube channel. And so we will get to ask some questions. Hopefully we'll get to some of you guys' questions. So it should be a good conversation.
Thank y'all for coming back.
All right.
Are we waiting on her?
Yeah. I just wanted to do that intro so that it was out of the way.
Now we got time to speak on your workout this morning.
I'm not, can we, I don't.
I'm just saying, what did y'all do?
I don't know.
I got up and I walked on the treadmill for like 30, 40 minutes.
That's great.
Yeah. Did y'all get up, get your steps in today?
I'm ignoring Greg today, you guys. I also ordered, what's his name? The jury consultant, Richard Gabriel.
Yep.
He talked about his book last time, so I ordered 2 copies. One for me because I want it, and then one that I want to give away. So if you are in the Patreon or YouTube, I think when I get home at some point this week, I will do a live, and then I can figure out a way to give it out. I'm very excited to read it, though. He's talking about all the kind of high-profile cases that he did, which I think it'll be interesting.
It was also dope. Doug posted your
notebook.
I
sent Doug. When Doug joined us last time, remember on the episode, I said I was going to send him one of the notebooks. And so I sent it. And yesterday he posted that he got it and he liked it. And that Bruce Harvey, I think, wanted a couple. So, Angela D. Williams said she wants a copy as well. So, all right, as I mentioned, we have a very special guest joining us today. She was here a couple months ago to join us, and we are so very excited to have her back because she is a good time.
Yes, she
So
is.
let's bring up Miss Lauren the lawyer. Hello,
Hey,
hello.
everybody.
Hi.
Happy to be back.
Yes. So excited to have you. So last time you were here, we left off talking about everything, first of all. We talked about all the things, but
We did.
particularly Greg and all of the amazing questions that he asked.
Thank you.
Ended with a question. So to pick up where we left off, we'll have him kick us off.
Child support. And there was, I believe he was an athlete that paid child support for the 16, 17 years. And the baby's mother sued him for back child support because he paid her through like PayPal and different forms of payments. And he has this on record. But since he didn't pay her through the court system, they said you never paid child support. So now he still owes her that entire time of child support. And she's going for it. And I'm like, how is this even possible if he has the record of giving her money?
Because it's a gift.
Now, see, that's why I'm kind of there's no logic in these court systems, like when it
If
comes
only
to
things
stuff
were
like.
that simple.
So it's not that simple. Everything is it's this or nothing at all, because
Well,
So does it have to be a court order and that makes it child support? Or if you are supporting your child and just supporting the child without the court system, that it's not child support technically?
the thing is, for instance, let's say these people never went to court,
Mm-hmm.
and this father's just supporting the child. That would protect him if she ever filed for child support, getting retroactive child support.
Okay.
Because you get retroactive child support if you say that this person hasn't been supporting the child. So that would be
Okay.
proof that he's been supporting.
Okay.
So that would protect him against retroactive child support. But once there's a child support order in place,
Okay.
that order should tell you how you have to pay. And if
Oh.
you don't, like our order say it, it's very specific on where you make your payments. And if you
Really?
don't get credit for it. So they count that as you was just being generous and going and give a gift. Like our orders say, and I don't know, I'm sure every state has it a little different, but the Attorney General runs child support in Texas. So the
Mm-hmm.
Attorney General has a portal. The Attorney General are basically, they're prosecutors, but they're family law prosecutors.
Okay.
So not like the DA for like criminal
Yeah.
cases. The Attorney General is prosecutors in family court. They work for the state of Texas. They are there to say, listen here, Texas is tired of supporting your child. We don't want to be paying for your kid no more. We want the parent to be responsible. So their job is to keep the parents responsible so that Texas don't have to keep paying for these children. That's their job. So the Attorney General has a system where they are tracking the child support payments. If you do not send your payment through that system, you don't get a credit for it. So they're like, you didn't pay your child support. We're not keeping up with your Zelles and your PayPal
Yeah.
and your Cash App. You pay through here, and that's how you'll get credit. If you don't pay through here, guess what? A gift, and you still owe us some money.
So I was gonna say, do they get, when you use their system, they get a cut of it? How are they?
No, it depends on how the court writes the order. There
Okay.
is a monitoring fee. It's like $36 a year.
Okay.
If the court orders a monitoring fee, but everyone doesn't have to pay a monitoring fee. But a court can order it. But like I said, it's $36
Yeah.
a year.
Okay.
That ain't nothing. But it could happen. It could not happen. But this whole system is an issue.
Okay. Yeah.
It's an issue. And you probably heard people say, "Oh my goodness, child support is unconstitutional." That's not true.
Hello?
The system that they were using is what was the issue. They
Oh.
ruled that there was an issue in the system they were using, that they upheld a portion of that is unconstitutional. But child support in and of itself, there's no constitutional issue.
Okay. You
Government
went out
always
for a
says,
second.
oh, I did?
Yeah, you're back though. But you were
Okay.
saying the system that they were using was the problem, but child support itself is not.
Right. That was what was
Okay.
being challenged as unconstitutional. And a portion of it was found to be unconstitutional because there
Oh,
is an issue with this system, right? Because this whole monitoring fee thing, right?
okay.
It's
Okay.
not, you basically shouldn't be profiting in any way on child support. So child support in and of itself is not unconstitutional. Trust me, the government wants you to pay for your kids. They don't want to pay for your kids.
Yeah.
So child support is definitely constitutional, but that system they had set up of by
Uh-huh.
ways these payments were being received and these
Okay.
fees, these processing fees,
Got
that
it.
was
Mhm.
unconstitutional. There shouldn't be any additional fees to child support.
Who challenged it? Somebody who was
I
on
don't
child support?
I don't know. I don't practice appellate law, so I stay out of people's business. I practice in district court on the state level. I'm a trial attorney. I leave them appeals to some other people. I just
Man.
Wait,
follow the law and do what I'm told.
hello? Are attorney generals like across the country? That is their role? I didn't know this.
I believe every state has an attorney general department, but they do different things in different states. I don't think
Okay.
every state uses their attorney general for child
And
support, but
okay.
Texas does.
Hold
But
on.
they do other things in other states.
Okay.
So the other thing about this, would somebody like tip this young lady off and say, hey, you can ask for this because he only paid through PayPal? Or like did the court send her a notification like, hey, here's your statement every month of him not paying child support, and she was just racking them up all this time, and then at the last minute she was like, by the way, I've have all these statements and you owe this amount of child support.
He probably pissed her off.
That's what I'm saying. How would how would she find out that she could ask for this after all this time?
It depends, right? There's a couple of ways that it could have happened. I don't think it happened this way, but let's say they do have an attorney general in their state. The attorney
Mhm.
general could have then came after him and sent the letter and saying, "Hey, you're in X, Y, and Z arrears." I don't think that's what happened because they wouldn't wait 16 years. I can tell you that
Mm,
Mhm.
now. And the
mm,
attorney general has a lot of power. You don't pay child support, the punishment ranges are very steep.
mm,
Jail, your
mhm.
driver's license can get taken away from you. You're a professional license. So if you're an attorney, if you're a barber, if you have a career where there's a
Wait.
license, they will take your license from you. They will take your passport from you. They will put liens on your property. They are somebody you don't want to mess with. They usually don't wait
Ooh.
16 years to rear their ugly head. So I don't think it was them because he would have
Uh-huh.
got that letter a long time ago. But it could have been anything. She could have been watching one of my TikToks and was like, wait a minute. Or she could have had a homegirl who was currently going through child support, and her homegirl could have been like, "Guess what my lawyer told me? It's only
Mhm.
considered child support if it's paid through that portal, and everything else is a gift. You better look into that." That's probably what really happened. I don't think the attorney general said anything because they would have been came back. Because the attorney general not gonna let Texas pay for your child for 16 years and then come say something that late about it.
Once an order for child support is put in place, if the person who is put on child support doesn't pay and then they have to deal with the consequences of that, that is no um the partner of them, the other parent has no say over that, right? Like if it would be their I mean, outside of what you're saying, if she like, alerted them, but if there is an order, you don't pay, the system itself could be the ones to say, "Hey, hey, hey, you're not paying, we're coming to get you." Is that what
No.
you're saying? Oh,
It wouldn't be that automatic. It's either the attorney general would
uh-huh.
serve you with a lawsuit, or the mom, or the because it's not always mom. There are moms that are on child
Uh-huh.
support. So the parent who's receiving child support can hire
Okay.
an attorney themselves and come after you for child support. So you can either wait around. The thing is, if you're a single parent and you need that money, you're probably not going to wait
Yeah.
around for the attorney general. They aren't quick.
Yeah.
16 years kind of slow, but they're not quick
Uh-huh.
because the moment you miss 1 month, it's on. So
Yeah, okay.
a lot of times they don't have years for the attorney general, a year or two to realize what you've been up to. They can always hire a family law attorney to bring forth this action. And this is one of my favorite areas of family law. It's called enforcement. Because I get to be like a little baby prosecutor because it's kind of quasi criminal law, and then I get to have fun. People just, get in all kinds of trouble. People go to jail. I get to be a baby prosecutor sometimes.
Do you get to recommend what the consequence should be?
And I ask for them all. I ask for them all. Because I will tell you a funny story. I put a parent, a mom, in jail on Thanksgiving Day behind playing with my client. It was his Thanksgiving. And I told her, now you get the whole week in Texas, the whole week the child's out of school. I was like, ma'am, you won't have no turkey this year. You play with me. He went to go get the child the Friday it got out of school for Thanksgiving
Yeah.
break. She withheld the child. Off to the clanker you go. I filed an enforcement lawsuit. I asked for jail time, and they
Oh,
arrested her
wow.
in the courtroom. My Thanksgiving was good, and his was good too. He ended up getting his child, and I promise you, I didn't have another problem out of her the rest of the case.
I'm
So
sure.
it's not just a child support thing. Anytime you're violating a court order,
Mm-hmm.
it's a problem. So you can go to jail
Wow.
behind child support. You can go to jail behind withholding the parent from the child. Any violation,
Yeah.
is bad.
Lauren sitting up there with that pen. All right.
Do you
Got the
recommend
power of the pen.
when people are amicable and getting along, are you a person who are like, you still should go to court and get this in writing? Or do you say, like, if y'all are chilling, y'all should just keep chilling?
I tell people, be very careful getting the court involved, because
Mm,
this is not just something you should take lightly, right?
mm,
Because if you can work it out with the parent, do that.
mm.
I fully
Mm.
support doing that, because a
Okay.
lot of people don't realize it's bigger than just child support once you get the court involved. At least here in Texas it is. You won't just get a child support order. That order comes with also what's called conservatorship and possession and access. And that comes with either some great things or not so great things. So let's say you're just a single parent and you and your other child's father or mother, y'all been doing all right, and then all of a sudden 1 month he pissed you off and you want to run and file a suit. Well, guess what?
Mm-hmm.
You can't just come over here and say, I just want child support. Now he's going to get court ordered conservatorship, meaning that now we have to address decision making. That's what conservatorship is here. Who makes
Oh.
decisions for the child? You might give up some of those rights you've just been so freely having. So now
Oh.
he gets to maybe potentially have a say in school, medical decisions. Also, a restriction on where the child could live is a very big thing. So
Oh.
you thought you might have been able to pick up and leave one day. Mm-mm,
Not no more.
not no
That was one
more.
of my
So
questions.
be careful before you open this can of worms behind just a dollar amount, because you will not
Mm-hmm.
just be able to do what you want anymore.
Got it. That's
So
important. That's an important thing.
so it must have been a court order for this guy to pay child support
Oh,
for this
absolutely.
to have happened. Okay. So
Unless it's
fellas,
retroactive.
what?
Unless she's saying that he was never ordered to pay child support and that he's
Mhm.
also never supported the child. And she could
Oh, okay.
potentially be saying that all of these were gifts and not child support. But I doubt it was that. I think he was put on child support and he just wasn't
Hold
paying
up.
through the
No.
system.
Even without the court order, she can or he can say these were gifts. This wasn't supporting the child. Even with the receipts. If that parent wanted to say this is separate from my child, there's nothing he or she didn't give anything for the child. The courts can still back pay that, make him or her back pay that child support.
Potentially. So let's say there was never an order, but he's been sending her money.
Uh-huh.
Okay. She could still file for child support retroactively. It says he's not supported this child. Okay. Now, him showing those receipts is a great case for him to show I have been supporting the child. But if the court deems that you ain't been supporting the child enough, there's guidelines
Mm.
on what child support should be. So let's say if we looked at his income, it's 20% of your income in Texas if you only have one child. Let's say 20%
Oh.
of your income is $1,000 a month, and that's how much you were supposed to be paying. But you've been
Mhm.
sending $500 a month.
Oh.
We got a problem.
Uh-huh.
Oh,
We got a problem. Now, you
snap.
don't have a problem in the sense of you're not going to jail, right? You can only go to
Yeah.
jail if you're violating a court order. There was no court order. You
Mm.
ain't going to the clanker. But we got a problem here.
Your baby needs support.
That oh, this
20%.
is
And then, sorry, go ahead.
my mind is blown by this because it's not right.
What's
If I
not
was
right?
a father, I would want to be put on child support. I personally
too.
would. I like to know what it is and what it ain't. Because when you're also on child support in Texas, you only got to pay what the court tell you to pay. You don't have to pay for nothing extra, none of that tuition or extracurricular activities, whatever your amount is monthly. Tell me what I'm supposed to do, and I'll do it. So I know that I ain't got nothing else to worry about. And then, of course, like I said, that type of suit comes with more than just child support. I know I got my court order legal time. I know what years I got Christmas, what year you got Christmas, what my summers look like, what your summers look like, what my weeks and weekends look like. Tell me up front what it is so I know how to proceed. All this back and forth, and every other week you texting me asking me for something different. I don't like none of that. Just tell me what it is. Put me on child support. Let me know when I get to see my child. And if you violate, I'm putting you in jail. If I violate, you got every right to try to put me in jail. And then just let it be what it's gonna be. I don't like confusion. Just put it in writing and tell me what it is. I would want to be on child support if I was a father. It's too much confusion if it's not.
Yeah. What if
Will said.
if and then we'll get off child support. But if you don't have a court order in place, and let's say one of the parents moves out of the state with the child and the other parent still lives in the state. Let's say the mother moves out of the state for the sake of not confusing ourselves. The mother and the child move out, the father stays. If he wanted, let's say, visitation, right? Or wanted some kind of court order in place, would he file that where he lives or where the mother lives? And have you seen that happen? What happens? It feels like a lot of leverage is gone.
Well, yeah, and that's another thing. This is why I tell people, like, there's pros and cons to everything, right? The con to the court order and getting the courts involved is that if you are a mother, you just see dollar signs for child support. It's more than that. Now you got to give up some rights. This father gets to have a say. This father gets court time, whatever. But just like I was saying, for the good part for the father, not only does he now know that he has to pay X, Y, and Z in child support, this child is restricted to staying here potentially. So every state has their own residency requirements. So how Texas works is the lawsuit is filed where the child is a resident of. So if the child is a resident here, the suit would be filed here. Now, let's say mom had a baby, everything was fine, they broke up, and she scrammed and go back home. Let's say she's not from here. That child is still a resident of Texas until the child's been gone for 6 months. So dad needs to act fast because once that child's been gone for 6 months, Texas loses jurisdiction. And that has happened plenty of times. So I tell people, yeah, you might not want to pay child support, but she could take your child and move to Canada tomorrow, and there's nothing you can do about it. Because yeah, he can file the suit here, but it's not likely the court will drag her back because she didn't leave unlawfully. It becomes unlawful when there's a court order that says you can't leave. But without a court order, she's not breaking the law. Just like if he took the child and ran, he's not breaking the law either. And they
So these
snatch
court
babies, fathers
orders.
do too.
Yeah, I've seen. And
What
then
happened?
the father takes the kid from school, and the mother shows up, and of course you're like, oh my gosh, he's still kidnapping, but it's not
It's not
technically if there's no
kidnapping.
order in place.
Even if there's a court order, it's not called kidnapping because you can't kidnap your own child, just like you can't burglarize your own house, right? You can't steal your own property. It's not called kidnapping when it's your child. It would just be a violation of a court order, which could still put you in jail. But it's technically not considered kidnapping. But yes, when there's no court order in place, neither one of you have more rights than the other, unless you have a court order that lays out those rights. So if he takes the child and runs, if she takes the child and runs, you're technically not doing anything illegal. That's why I love court orders sometimes when there's confusion. So I can do something if she snatches the child. I mean, I was involved in a case with a whole show out in Baltimore's airport.
In the airport?
So my client had
Everybody got locked up.
a newborn baby. like actively trying to get her served with divorce papers. She kind of got wind of what was going on and she took off home to the East Coast. And I was like, you want her back? She's a brand new mother. That's her baby. Take the baby. I guarantee you she'll come back. So he went to the East Coast. I just told him to go snatch the baby because, like I said, you can't kidnap your own child. I
Yes.
said, just get the baby and come back, and she'll come back. He slept with her, tried to make it seem like he wanted to get back with her, and while she was in the shower
Aw.
just washing off all her little sins with him a few hours ago, he snatched the baby and ran. That
Aw.
went to the airport. He was boarding the flight. They had a whole skirmish fighting in the airport over the child. Oh yeah, it was a whole big old deal.
Wow.
Needless to say, not only did she came back because they let him on the plane. He was the one with the ticket. They let him on the plane. Like, but these are people who had money. Like, she literally bought every airline who had a flight out from Baltimore to Dallas so she could be in the terminal to find that baby.
Oh my
And
gosh.
she found him because he was boarded. They let him on the plane. They didn't let her on the plane. They booked her on a later flight, but she came back. And then we had
I'm
our day in
sure.
court, and he won full custody.
Really?
Yeah, me as his lawyer, of course he did.
That part. That
He
part
won
must
full
I
custody.
remind you.
I mean,
What
we
I
had a
would
whole
do.
we had a whole show out. Like, she punched him and accidentally hit the baby. So I mean, I had photos of the baby bleeding. I said, "Oh, this lady got to go,"
What?
and the judge
is
agreed with me.
happening?
Oh, it was. I'm telling you, it was fighting in the airport. They were fighting.
Hey, what I do to spend one day in your shoes?
Oh my goodness. Not you
That
hit
is
the baby.
crazy.
Yeah, fighting and hit your child. I mean, we talking about a brand new baby. This baby had to
I was
be
about to say.
three months. Oh yeah, we
Oh
talking about
my
a fresh
gosh.
out. They're acting up.
Acting up. Everybody go to
And
jail.
Lauren said he snatched the baby up. Why can't we just
Now,
say he took the baby to the airport?
He didn't slept with the
Yes.
girl. You didn't lost focus, sir. There was a task at
He
hand.
tried,
You didn't detoured.
he tried to put her to sleep, make sure she was sleeping good. And she
now
done
I'm about
got
to
up.
text you. I'm about to text you who this is, and I just
Okay.
want your natural reaction to
Okay.
show on camera because
Okay.
these were well-known people.
Oh.
Wow.
Oh, this is gonna be good. Oh, good. Okay.
While that's happening,
Yeah.
a comment was asking about the dropping off and picking up of a child. So if I'm out of state and I'm supposed to meet you halfway and the other parent refuses to meet halfway,
Mm.
I'm assuming this is where the court order comes into play and how everything is laid out. But say you don't have a court order, then
Mm.
you're just SOL on that situation.
Mhm. Yeah,
So
because
you
basically,
need
when
to,
there's no court order, y'all are just agreeing, making agreements on your own. So what do you do when
yep,
there's no agreement? There's
you
nothing
fight.
in place to hold you to anything. Like, if they don't show up, they just
Anything.
don't show up. They're not doing anything wrong. But I've seen some out of state orders, and they're always like really weird to me because Texas is so thorough and so clear on everything. And when like
Hmm.
somebody maybe coming here from somewhere else and they need to transfer the order here, I've seen some orders be like, "Ooh, out of state, they just be doing whatever." Texas is
Mm.
very, very specific. We have pick up, drop off. We even sometimes talk about long distance travel. You might not mind if your child flies as an unaccompanied minor. We'll have in the
Hmm.
order what that looks like. Is dad
Mm.
going to pay for the flight? I
Mm.
like to require also that, depending on the child's age, also an escort pass. I require an escort
Mm.
pass along with those flights, meaning that the mom or whoever's dropping the child off can go all the way through TSA, sit at the gate with the child, and
Mm.
literally the only time the child is without an adult is when they're physically on the plane. You put the
Got it.
child on the plane, and then the person who's picking up the child meets them at the plane. So I require
Ah.
escort passes depending on the child's age. Now I don't do that for like a 16-year-old. But we talk
Yeah.
about a 6-year-old flying alone, absolutely. So we are very thorough in our orders about how things need to be handled. If it's halfway, the order will not stay halfway. The order will actually say the address of
Oh
where
wow.
is it Chick-fil-A? Is it the zoo? Is it Blocker?
Yeah.
It will have an address because Texas don't play. So people go to jail for violating these orders. If that person shows up to that address and you're not there, that's a violation,
Oh wow.
and you in
That's
trouble.
good though. That clarity. You need that. You need that, or else you
And
gonna be having anybody can go. You have a bad day, you got an attitude with me, and now you ain't trying to do what the court said or what we together agreed. Now you done deviated, and I'm trying to pull up. No, let's
yeah,
get it in writing. So
and
yeah,
you can punish
With
somebody civilly or criminally or both. That's the
you
best
can
part.
what?
Punish them civilly, criminally, or both.
the way Lauren be looking like,
She'd be like,
yes.
drop that in there.
So, who has?
Enforcements are my favorite. It's the most black and white part of family law, and that's probably why I really just like it, because everything else is up in the air. When I'm going in there arguing about custody, or it's a divorce and we arguing about the house, the car, the dog, I don't know for sure how this is gonna end. But with the
Mm.
enforcement, I always know how it's gonna end. It's very black and white. The law is very clear. So that is the one
Uh-huh.
time I know when I get in court what's about to happen. And if I'm representing somebody who is in violation, because I mean that happens too, I
Yeah.
don't ever let my client step foot in court, because I know you. Like, we not. No, we're gonna do a settlement, because I don't want to see you get hauled off and sent to jail today.
Uh-huh.
Any good lawyer would
That's what's
never
up.
let their client step foot in court on an enforcement if they know they in the wrong. Mm-mm. Mm-mm.
With the enforcement, who do you negotiate this enforcement? Like if I'm the parent, like, hey, halfway is actually this address, or halfway is this. I want first class tickets for my child every time they fly. I have first class. I have that option. I can negotiate that.
Well, the thing is, let's say you're having a hearing. So if you're
Mhm.
trying to establish an order, like you don't
Yes.
have anything in place yet, you're just trying to establish it. You ask the judge for what you want, and then you put on
Okay.
a case to reflect what you want, because you have to
Mhm.
back up what you're asking for, right? We don't just get things because we want them, right? But let's say if
Mhm.
you could show what your child's accustomed to. My child's been flying first class for
Mm.
however many times. My child can't be in coach, you know. So
Yeah.
you could put on evidence that this is the lifestyle that your child is accustomed to, and the court will take that into consideration. But let's say you don't want to have a hearing, you have a case file, but you don't want to leave it up to a judge. Well, then the attorneys can try to work out a settlement, or we can go to mediation and bring in a mediator, a neutral third party, to see if we're able to come to some agreements. But you can't get it unless you ask for it, right? You got to
Mhm.
Yeah.
make your wishes known.
Mhm.
I think that's the
Absolutely.
thing about
Wait,
um
you text me? I'm looking
Oh,
at my
I done
phone.
got distracted. Uh-oh.
I'm asking questions. I want the text. I'm over here like, what? I would just text me.
When you trying to do something, you can't never find what you're looking for. So
Uh,
Mel, text me right now so I
I
can
was about to
text you
say, let
back
me
real
text you.
quick. I was trying to text you on my computer, and of course it wasn't acting right. Oh, here you go. See, you popped up right here. Look, I'm just blind. Here we go. This is who was up in there acting a fool.
everybody over here like
Look at that.
wow.
Them
You
people showed up to my office ready to fight me.
you would not y'all wouldn't ever guess who this, you wouldn't even guess.
That's a mess.
That is a
Yeah.
mess.
It's not hard
Oh
though. It's
wow.
not hard to find. I mean, it's all public record.
Mhm.
Go right
Oh,
to
With
the
that's
some,
courthouse
crazy
and pull
too.
it on.
you
Oh
can do
yeah.
some Googles. That's a mess.
They
That's
was
a
acting a
mess.
fool. They weren't too happy
Cra-
with me.
I'm sure.
I
I
mean,
bet
her
you
family they was pissed.
oh yeah. I know they were
Especially when she
pissed.
lost custody. You know how embarrassing that is to them?
Oh
Oh
man.
well. Not me first. I
Cause
would have been
they're
her lawyer. Oh well.
and they very proud people.
um,
That's wow.
okay, I want to talk about I sent you a case that I covered. I did a video on, and it was quite a time. Okay. There is a social media influencer. We'll do a small recap for the sake of the setup for the audience. A social media influencer who was married, and the husband's name, Devin. Okay. Brene married to Devin. Devin's first cousin, his name is Tim, and then Tim has a wife named Akira. So two couples, and they are cousins. The husbands are the cousins, and they all hang out. And what is discovered early in January by one of the wives or Akira, is that Brene, the influencer, and Tim, her husband's cousin, were having an affair. And so as a result of that, they move in together. She leaves her husband and he leaves his wife and the kids. They have now purchased, or they have a property, and Akira, this is in North Carolina, I should say, has now sued. And she sued for alienation of
Affection.
affection. She also had criminal conversation in there, which I was like, this is apparently this cause of action is how you sue a person who's
The
broken
side
up
piece.
your marriage. The side piece. Is this a law in Texas, number one?
I
And
wish.
I just, I,
I
I
wish. You
just
know how
knew
much
it
fun I
was,
would be
but
having?
wow. I wonder why that
Oh.
isn't a law. It seems like it would be in Texas.
I know.
Other things to them. I just do other things. I can't sue her, but I do other things. Like I embarrass her really, 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 really bad. I'll subpoena her at work. I'll subpoena her mama too. Her job, her bank. Make her come
So
testify.
in this suit, Akira is asking for like all the communications between her husband and this influencer. She wants like from whatever the periods are, she is asking, I mean, from emails, text messages, videos, WhatsApps, every form of communication. She wants it all.
Good.
And then they have kids, so she's asking for any videos, anything she has of her kids. She wants all of that. She's asking for all of this in discovery. She has subpoenaed AT&T. She's done all the things. The problem apparently is Brene's attorney. They just never responded to the subpoenas. They never provided the
Problem.
discovery.
That's a
And
problem.
now Brene's attorney asked to withdraw.
And Brene's attorney, is that the attorney for the hoochie or for the wife?
Yeah, the hoochie.
For the hoochie, okay. That would make sense. I mean, do you want to be attached to this? I wouldn't think so. You
But
know?
could he get in trouble for not responding to the subpoena? Because he was her attorney when all of this gets served. And then he files a motion for an extension, like, yo, this is a lot. Like, give us some time. And then he just never responds. And the next document from him is asking to withdraw. Could he still be in trouble for that?
Well, yeah, the court can definitely issue sanctions on him, but the court can also let him withdraw.
Child.
The court's
And
going to get down to the bottom of it. There probably will be a hearing about what's going on. And if he has failed to turn over the documents because of him, is he just ignoring and just slow, or he just can't get it from his client? I mean, we're not magicians. I wish I could just rub my fingers together and things appear. All I can do is tell my client what to give me. But if they never give it to me, what am I supposed to do? So I don't really know the reason of why he doesn't have the discovery to turn over. If it's on him, sanctions are coming. If it's on the client could definitely be punished too.
That's
legally, financially. That's the best thing you do. When someone doesn't respond to discovery, here it's called a motion to compel, and you can also ask for sanctions, but it comes with attorney fees.
And that's what she asked. It's a motion to compel. And she said the reasoning was the trial's supposed to start next month. And so what she says is your delay in providing this is delaying my ability to prepare for trial. And it's also costing me more money because I have to pay my attorney to do this extra work because you're not doing what you're supposed to. So she's asking for attorney fees.
And she's probably going to get it. I don't know how big, I think it's North Carolina, right? I don't know how big they are on awarding attorney fees, but Texas loves it. They love us to, they want us to, be able to do our job. So they don't make us work for free around here. We'll get paid.
So how would you handle a case like this in Texas, since it's what's that? Affection?
Alienation of affection.
Alienation of affection. Who decided this was a thing? Alienation.
Well, but it's all. Can you break down if you're familiar? Can you break down what that actually means? Alienation of affection. I mean, like when you think about it, you're alienating what the affection I should be getting is how I'm thinking about it.
Yeah, unfortunately, Texas doesn't have it, but we did
Mm.
kind of talk about it a little bit. I think in law school they called it loss of consortium, which is basically like loss of companionship, loss of the affection. But we weren't talking about it from a standpoint of somebody cheating. We were talking about it from the standpoint that a wife could bring forth a suit if, like, the husband was wrongfully unalived or something like
Oh,
that. So, like, for instance, we were talking about in law school, like, if a drunk driver came and
okay.
killed your husband, then the wife could sue for that loss of consortium, which, like, you took my companionship away, you took my
Yeah.
affection away, you took my love away. But we didn't talk
Interesting.
about an aspect of suing the hoochie. But I did call on a homegirl,
Okay. Okay.
and I took some notes. So
Okay.
what she told me was there's 3 things you have to prove, and sex is not one of them. I thought that was very interesting. They do not have to actually have intercourse.
The hoochie and the spouse don't have to?
They don't have to. No.
Wow.
So this is all you need to prove it. The first thing she told me was that that basically this lawsuit is you're saying that because of the wrongdoer, because of this hoochie, that the spouse has removed their affection towards you. Another important thing about this lawsuit is not it cannot be filed against spouses. You cannot file an alienation of affection suit against your husband. It got to be the hoochie. That's important.
Okay.
It's pretty cool, right?
Okay.
And you're
Yeah.
basically saying first you have to prove that you had a happy marriage before the hoochie came along. So if your
That
marriage
is
was bad already, too bad. She just made a bad marriage worse. She can't do nothing.
But
Then
how
you have to prove that you had a good marriage.
yeah.
are
Had
you
all the
proving
good
it?
things in it, good communication, good companionship, that y'all was all in love. And that because of
Oh.
her, he took the love away.
Oh. Okay.
The next thing was that you have to show that the hoochie's actions were wrongful, malicious, and intentional.
Okay.
So I don't think it'll work for like a person who did not know they were married. Because men be lying,
Yeah,
you
yeah,
know?
yeah.
So
Uh-huh.
in order for something to be intentional and malicious, you got to know this person's married. That's another little
Got it.
interesting part, right?
Uh-huh.
And then you also have to show, girl, I done scribble scratched on my little sticky note. And then the last thing you have to prove that because of their actions, the spouse has removed their affection and love away. So you got to prove the marriage was happy.
Uh-huh.
You have to prove that it was malicious. What the hoochie did was malicious and intentional. And then after this person got involved, then your spouse took their love away from you. So that's
Got
the
it.
3 things you need.
So, man or lady finds out that they're getting cheated on. You go ahead and book trips for the whole year,
Mm-hmm.
document it, make
Mhm.
it seem like everything is kosher, everything's good, pictures and all. So now hey, we went on trips all year last year.
Yeah.
We're good.
Yeah.
Then you subpoena the records of them talking together. Now this is her just tearing us apart. And then last but not least, obviously we're here filing this claim because of her. And that's
And
how
the
you
fact that
do
he
it.
moved out. Well, what's so interesting is after Akira, the wife, filed this suit against the mistress's husband then files a suit against his cousin for doing the same thing. So he has now filed the alienation of affection, the lawsuit against his cousin for breaking up his marriage.
If I represented the hoochie, because I don't know, let's have fun here. If I
Yes.
represented the hoochie, what I would do to get her out of it is I would attack the easiest part, which is showing that they didn't already have a happy marriage. Because if he's
Mm-hmm.
sleeping with his cousin's wife, trust me, he done cheated before. And it would be my
Yeah.
job to find out who he cheated with. And then I would put it out there that the wife knew about the cheating and forgave him. Because now we taking away this happy home foolishness. You got to start off with the marriage was happy to begin with. I would
Yeah.
find something that happened in the marriage. Because if you sleeping with the cousin's wife, this man had cheated before. I would find the first lady he cheated with. And then I would also find out that the wife knew and then boom, we don't even got to be here, Judge, because then she didn't lose a thing. She was already unhappy.
How
Okay,
you
we
find
can't
that?
wait. We can't post this episode because listen, you just helped them because remember I just said that the husband is now suing his cousin. In the husband's lawsuit, he says that his cousin has told him already that he had been cheating on her when she was pregnant, and she took him back.
Wow.
See, that means she knew about the cheating. That's to me as an attorney, that just screams at me. That's what
Lauren,
I would do if I was
Bren-
representing the hoochie.
Brene, can
Lo-
you pro hoc vice in
You
North
ain't even-
Carolina? Because Brene,
I'm leaving the people alone.
Lauren, you good. You real good. You just
you.
said what she said without even look. You real good.
he literally
It's just
in
obvious
his
to me.
lawsuit. I was reading it and I was like,
Oh.
oh my gosh, why would he put in here that Tim had already cheated on Akira? That's so messed up that he would put that in there when she was pregnant.
So if somebody so if somebody brings can people bring this to you though if it's not allowed in Texas, the alienation
yeah.
of affection?
We
Okay,
have
so
full divorce in Texas, and one of the grounds is adultery. So if I got to prove the adultery, oh yeah, I'm gonna go get the hoochie. I'm actually in one of the files looking for the last time I subpoenaed a hoochie, so I could tell you exactly what I told her to bring to me.
can you text us her
Yeah.
information?
I'll send y'all the document
Look at-
of what I
look at
heard.
this
She
hoochie.
called my office all that crying, girl. You weren't crying when you was over there having a good time. Now were you? Save your tears.
Okay, so
Save your tears.
if it's not the alienation of affection, it's just proving
Well, it's false.
adultery.
Right, you
I'm
got to
saying-
get
I'm
it
just
out the
saying-
spouse. Texas doesn't
Okay.
let you Texas doesn't let you have a suit against the mistress. Texas makes you get it out the spouse, the person you married to, the person who made all these promises and vows before the Lord. For
Uh-huh.
you have to go get it out your spouse. And Texas does make it, a wonderful way to do so. And I just
And
found
you-
that case.
Okay.
I'm trying to. I just was like, who was the last person I
I
did
don't
this
know.
to?
I'm like
I want to go
crying. My
find
eyes.
this. I see my letter to her. We call them paramours in Texas. I just found my letter to the paramour. Now I want to find what I actually served her with. Let me try to see if I can find that too. I had a good time. I remember I had her served at work.
At work.
My client was like, she wanted to make sure that this lady paid for her indiscretion. So I was like, let's do it. You pay, and that's the thing, like, it's your retainer. You can spend it how you want. I personally wouldn't want to waste my money on the heifer, but I would have spent the money making his life miserable.
Yeah.
But yeah,
So-
sometimes people just want to spend it they want everybody to be hurting. So if you want to spend it, I can get the girl involved if that's where you want your money to go towards.
Yeah. How do you go ahead?
I was just about to say, what type of settlements come out of these type of lawsuits? I mean, what are they?
Well, the lawsuit
Hey, I
is
want
the divorce.
50,000.
The
Okay.
lawsuit is the divorce, right? I'm a family law attorney, so all of my lawsuits have to deal with family actions. But there are lawsuits nonetheless. I think when people hear the word lawsuit, they believe that you always suing for money. No, when you sue somebody for custody, you're suing about your child. It's a lawsuit about the child. So lawsuits are just you asking for something. So they're all lawsuits. But
Got it.
basically, the reason why you would file a false divorce under the grounds of adultery is to get a bigger piece of the pie. You want them to take this much, and you want to take this much. Now, the interesting thing about Texas is just good old-fashioned screwing around ain't enough. Everybody, the court is about everybody getting cheated on all day, every day. So, your story means a lot to you, but the judge that heard 50 people this morning talk about how these spouses cheating. That's not enough. Get in line, right? What the court cares about is if you spend money to fund your adulterous ways, because this is a community property state, just like y'all are in a community property state. You can't be spending your money to fund your adulterous ways. That is the key here. You got to have the adultery, and adultery is actual intercourse. You got to actually have that, and then you got to tie money to it. So the lavish trips, the gifts, if he paying her rent, we got a problem. We got a big problem. But if it's
Wait,
just
and
cheating,
so-
I mean,
You went out slightly, and I just want to restate what I think I heard you say. It's a community property, which means what's mine is yours, what's yours is mine. And so if you are spending money on a mistress, that means you're spending some of my money on that mistress, and that's why we have a problem, and now you owe me money.
Exactly. So
Understood.
now you can ask for basically what you're asking for is for the community to be reimbursed for
Ah,
what he spent to fund the adultery. So let's say
got it.
he's been in an affair and over the last year he spent $100,000 on this person.
Mhm.
You're asking for the community estate to be reimbursed $100,000. Now, does he have to write a check for $100,000? No. But let's say y'all two have a house and it's a $500,000 house. And originally y'all would have split it 50-50, 250 each. You're gonna ask for 350. That's how you'll get your $100,000 back. You see what I'm saying? So
Got it.
you
Yep.
you just pull it from other property that you would have, and
Understood.
that's how you get it back. But this is for people who have stuff to argue about. If you ain't got nothing, what we talking about?
Yeah.
Because you want a bigger piece of the pie. If you don't have a house there's a lot of equity in it, if he doesn't have a retirement account with a bunch of money in it, where are we pulling this aha moment from?
Yeah.
You're
Yeah.
doing this to get money out of you want to walk away with a bigger piece of the pie. But if you don't
Uh-huh.
have a pie to begin with, I mean, are we just
Hello?
having a good time? I'm down for a good time. We could wreak some havoc and just, bring hell to everybody. But what are you trying to gain at the end of this? Is
Yeah.
it money? But the community has to have money for you to win something in the
Got it. Got it.
end, you know?
So
Yeah, that makes sense.
so in the story,
Mm-hmm.
the hoochie and the other guy, they moved in together.
Yeah.
Okay, so community
They got
property.
a new place.
They got a new place together.
Uh-huh.
I don't know. Let's just say everybody stayed married to who they was married to and didn't get legally divorced. They just shacked up, bought a home.
Mhm.
So the hoochie and this guy bought a home, and the other couple bought their homes or whatever. They didn't get legally divorced. Everything is still community property, right?
And I would take everything that she got. So all the gifts, the house, the car, the dog, I'll take your dog too. So all of that belongs to the community. And if my client wanted it, we coming to get it. So if he bought you
Yes.
a Chanel, that's our Chanel.
Yeah. Yeah.
If he bought you a townhouse, that's our
Uh-huh.
townhouse. And we want it. Or we can sell it, put you on the curb, and then my client gets her percentage, but it don't
Yeah,
belong
yeah.
to you. It belongs to
Got
the
it.
community. And guess who's a part owner of the community? My client.
Mhm.
And
Mm,
we want what we came here for.
yeah. So so
That is so, and people do this kind of stuff.
yeah.
Yeah,
So
I'm about to email you one of the last times I served a mistress in case you want to see what I was asking her for.
so the hoochie, let's just say the hoochie puts down the down payment on this house with the cheating
The
husband.
husband,
Yep. So now whatever, they both own this home. But since this husband didn't divorce the wife, she's taking 50% of whatever.
his percentage of the ownership is because the community
Okay.
property is attached to him.
Him.
He's spending
Okay.
his income. So let's say the
Yep.
hoochie, the down payment is $50,000 and the hoochie put down 25,000 and he put down 25,000, then
Yep.
potentially they own this home 50-50. His
Mhm.
50% is what she can go after.
Ah,
But let's say he bought the house for
That's-
her.
mhm.
yes.
House belongs to the community.
Yeah.
He's
Wow.
paying the mortgage
Yep. That would
for the
hurt.
mortgage.
Oh,
Yeah,
That's a
too
mess.
bad. Y'all better
Too
leave these married
bad.
people alone. Y'all better leave these married people alone.
I had a
ah.
question. Oh, go ahead.
I think we spoke on this last time about people dating people that are married and the other person is like, hey, yeah, we're going through a divorce, but we're not divorced yet. And
Tricky
you
business.
see people, yeah, you see people dating for like years waiting for the divorce to happen. And if anything is accumulated during that time, so you've been dating this guy for 2 years, but he's still married, and
Mhm.
you all purchase a home. they get divorced and the wife is like, hold up, you bought a house. I need my 50% of that house. Even though you've been dating this person for 2 years, she's gonna take, or he's gonna take, well, they have rights to that house.
Well, yeah, because anything that you accumulate during your marriage is community property, with a few exceptions. Things that aren't, and I literally just did a video about this last week. Things that aren't
I
community
watched it this
property is
morning.
your inheritances. So if granddaddy left you some money, wonderful. That's your separate property. But like your income that you get from your employer, that's community property. Something that's not community property is a gift. For instance, if your spouse buys you a present, it's your separate property. So gifts are separate, inheritances are separate, and of course, most importantly, anything you walked into the marriage and you already own. So anything you purchase and own before the marriage is separate property. But what you accumulate during the marriage is community property. Also, income that you make on your separate property is community property. So let's just say your spouse buys you a condo. Merry Christmas, baby. Okay.
Mhm.
And then you put a tenant in the condo's a gift, right? Your separate property.
Uh-huh.
But you put a tenant in there to make money. Guess what? The rent is
Mm,
community property because it's in
Wow.
the
okay.
Oh,
income you
wow.
make from your separate property is also community property. So let's
Wow.
just say he owned the house before the marriage
Uh-huh.
and he put his hoochie in it.
Hello?
Ah.
He is paying for anything in the house. Let's say she's
Uh-huh.
paying
Mhm.
them rent, or is she paying the utilities, or she doing this, she making upgrades, community.
Wow.
Now let's say she was there before the marriage.
The
Does he
hoochie?
still do? Yeah, the hoochie was there before the marriage. After they get married, starting right then, that's when it becomes community.
Yep.
Ah, okay.
From the moment you get married. So also when get a retirement account, or
Mm-hmm.
you get all this, Bitcoin, and you get all these stocks and things. If you do it during the marriage, it's community. But the whole way you can avoid all of this is with a prenup or a postnup. I don't know why people don't utilize it more often.
Mm.
Mm.
Because when you come up with your own rules and you play by your own,
Yeah.
rules of the game, then you don't have to follow Texas's law. I don't know why
Yeah.
anybody would want to get involved with this. I would, you know, I would try to
Have
see. And
you
if you don't do it before the marriage, do it after you get married. Do a postnup.
Do you counsel people before they get married?
counsel?
No, they usually are coming to me when the marriage is over already.
I'm just
The only
saying though.
time I'm with people usually before they get married is if it's like a custody case and I'm addressing a
Mm.
custody issue. So I'm really just dealing with the child. But I would probably see more people before they got married if I did prenups. I don't draft prenups. I
Okay.
deal with them in the event of a divorce. I mean, I like the fun stuff.
Yeah.
Drafting prenups reminds me of contract law, and it's boring. It's watching paint dry. I want to do the fun part. I want to argue about the prenup and the divorce. I don't want to draft them. So I don't see the people before they get married.
Mm-hmm.
This
I
is
deal with them afterwards.
counseling.
I haven't I don't know much about it, but someone is asking Journey Smollett. Is it Smollett? I never know how to pronounce
Mm,
this baby's name. But did you see that I think they're getting a divorce, or they've gotten a divorce, but he was trying to ask for money from like her childhood acting or something.
that wouldn't be a
What
thing
are
in
you
Texas. Anything that would
Oh.
happen and she acquired before marriage is not up for grabs. It's separate property. Now, if he's asking a for for a portion of like the community property that was earned from the separate property, like I said, if she had a house before the marriage, separate property.
Uh-huh.
But if she's making income on that, he can
Yeah,
go after the income that she's making during the marriage because that's community. But you can't go after the actual property.
got it.
Does that make sense?
Now
Yep,
that makes
it
sense.
does.
But let's say the shows that she did, they reboot them after they've been married, and now the show started making income, $20 million, because the show's just rebooting. They just ran some series. He's he
Entitled.
can touch that money.
Yeah, whatever she's earning, your income during your marriage is community property
It's just
income.
split.
Okay, so that's just it.
And
The
there are
property
specific
is
states.
more tricky.
because I think you were saying this in your video too. There are specific state. Not every state is a community property state. California
Nope.
is. Texas is.
Most states are not community property states. They're more, I think they call them equitable division states. They
Mm,
divide the stuff equitably. So when you're in
okay.
a community property state, it's a lot different. And every community property state makes their own rules of how they go about dividing the community. The interesting thing
Okay.
about Texas, which I think California is completely different, our law does not say you have to split the community 50-50. A lot of states
Oh.
do that are community property
Oh.
states. Texas says it must be split just and right. Now,
Hello.
sometimes just and right is 50-50, but sometimes it ain't. Like when we have hoochie, 50-50
Uh-huh.
isn't just and right
Mhm.
now, is it? No. I think a good 60-40. If he fathers a baby, 90-10 sounds very good to me. That sounds just and right. Don't you agree, ma'am?
Father the baby, absolutely. I want it all.
This is wild.
You made a video, which my mouth was dropped the whole time because you were talking about a husband and wife doing surrogacy, and then the husband ran off with the surrogate. Can you just remind us of this insane story that made me want to fight everybody?
So this was years ago. Even though I don't draft prenups and things like that, I will review your agreements, because as the person who tears them apart in trials and things, I
Mhm.
know the loopholes to look for because I know the tricks I pull. But they came
Yeah.
to me about a surrogacy agreement. So I just put on my custody hat, was like, looking for loopholes of things that I would, poke at if we were in trial. So they came to me about a surrogacy agreement. I gave them their advice, sent them on their way, and wished them well, hope they had a baby. Well, then she came back later and wanted to consult for a divorce. And we didn't live near each other, because since we were just talking about an agreement, as long as you're in Texas, I could just look at the agreement. But if we're talking
Okay.
about representing you, you need to be here. Trust me, I don't think you want to pay to fly me around to wherever you live every time you got a hearing, right? So I was like, I can't represent you. Texas is huge, just like California is huge.
Yeah.
It could take me 10 hours to get to your city by car, right? So
Yeah.
I was like, I'll consult with you, but you're going to need to hire someone locally. And so basically, she was trying to have a divorce consultation, but also like an emergency custody one, because he cheated with the surrogate and they ran off together. So she was like, screw him, but bring me back my baby.
Yes.
Mm.
So there was all kind of kidnapping. Now she's a kidnapper, because the surrogate's a kidnapper because it is not her child.
That's not your child.
That's not your child. It's not kidnapping on the husband, but it was kidnapping on the surrogate. It's not her baby. So there were kidnapping charges that were brought. It was a huge thing in their city. It was all over the news. And I just think about it from time to time, because since I wasn't a part of the divorce, I was like, I just hope you got him good, girl. I hope you got him good.
That's insane.
Yeah,
That's insane.
Why,
happens all the time.
why is this? Why are people like this, man?
I know.
How
I
are
don't know what's
you?
wrong with these people.
What?
Now I'm trying to get you
What?
this document, girl. Give me 1 second. I'm
Okay.
listening and working on it, so you can
I
see
know,
what
I
kind of fun
know.
stuff we do when we get to the mistresses. Y'all better watch
You
out.
go. Oh my goodness!
Goodness. Yeah, that's crazy.
You get a surrogate to have a child by your wife.
Mm-hmm. I mean, theoretically.
There
Apparently.
was
But
a
then,
different case I was on that wasn't so nasty.
oh,
Like, it was no cheating involved, but yes. So there was a husband and wife who were trying to have a baby. The problem was it was the husband's sperm, but they used the surrogate's egg. The
Okay.
wife just didn't produce eggs. So it's not like
Okay.
this case where it was
mm,
biologically the husband and wife child. In this separate case, it was his biological child and the surrogate's biological child.
Oh,
So there was no
understood.
cheating. The surrogate just took the baby. Not kidnapping, she's the biological mother. But they sued her to get their money back for the money they paid for the surrogacy, but they also sued her for custody of the baby. And Texas law is very specific about like a child's parent. Like that's when they mess up. They should have did a donor egg. At the end of the day, that
Uh-huh.
was her biological child, which means
Yeah.
she has rights. So now they sharing custody with the surrogate.
Oh my
So
goodness.
donor egg
Sharing
people,
custody.
it's her child. That's what they messed up. They should have did a donor egg.
And
It's
see,
called the
this is
parental
what I'm saying.
presumption.
This is why I'm saying you should be a counselor to people before all of this happens. Like,
Don't be dumb.
You can always
listen to
I
these
think you should consult
cases.
with an attorney before you get involved. Like before you get married, come and say, "Hey, Lauren, what do you think I should be looking out for?" I'll be like, "You're in a community property state. This is what
Mhm.
it'll look like if all hell break loose." And then maybe you
Yeah.
can make a decision for yourself to either go do a prenup, do a post-up, or get the hell up out of here. You ain't got to live
Hello.
here.
Yep.
Move. Move.
Yes.
But
'Cause-
get the information on the front end.
Yeah.
yes. Because I'm like, if everybody heard this podcast before marriage, it'd be a better world out here.
Hello.
I'm not trying to scare anybody. Like you're happily married. I'm happily married. Like, I don't want to scare people from marriage, but if people married the right person, I wouldn't be in business.
That's true.
People's bad decisions is why I'll be employed the rest of my life or until I retire, because people love making bad decisions. They love having
That's true.
babies with people. That's a poor
Yeah.
decision. They love getting married to people they ain't supposed to be married to. Poor decision. So
Mhm.
people's poor decisions end them up in court quite often. Quite
Mhm.
often. I try to warn
Mhm.
people. I try to warn them, but nobody listens to me. Nobody.
Man.
So make sure you got your
Oh.
money saved, because we're expensive. Family law attorneys are very expensive. So just put a little bit of money aside in this savings account for when Mad Day get here.
So, talking about expenses, how long does a divorce proceeding last? Like, because some people are
As long as
saying
they
they're
got
going
money to
through
fight.
divorce.
Mm.
Ah,
The
because
people
I've
with a lot
seen
of money
people.
will fight forever.
Okay,
They'll fight
so it
forever.
all depends on how fast they come
How much
up
you
with
want to invest.
negotiations.
Because this is expensive. The longer I'm working, the more money you're paying, right? So if you want
Yeah.
to get in and out, let's get in and out. Like, for instance, when I'm doing uncontested divorces, the minimum is 60 days, because that's just the waiting period we have here. Since we don't have
Mhm.
separation, you don't have to be separated before you file for divorce.
Oh.
But they do want a little cooling off period. They don't want people just filing for divorce and just getting back together. So
Okay.
what they'll do is you don't have to be separated, but you can't get a divorce until after 60 days. So for those people, if it's uncontested, that usually works for people who haven't been together in so long, they're just finally getting around to the paperwork. Or usually people who have been married for 2 minutes, so ain't nothing to discuss, they haven't accumulated anything. So those
Mhm.
people, I get them in and out. 61st day, I get them divorced. But the other people, I would say the average, so they don't want to like fight to the death, but they got a little fight in them. I would
Mhm.
say 6 months to a year.
Okay.
6 months to a
Wow.
year. But the people who want to fight, years. I'm on a divorce case now. We on year 2.
Oh my gosh.
So is
Yeah.
it bi-weekly checks they just cut into you, like, hey, here you go.
No, it's a
Here you-"
retainer. So the retainer
Ah.
goes into a trust, and then the trust account gets billed. And then if you deplete it by 75%, you got to put another one in there. But the beauty of it is, if you don't spend all the money that's in there, that's just money you didn't spend on the student, it's returned to you. But
Okay.
I mean, I have people who are on retainer 4 and 5 because they just keep depleting it because of how much
Oh,
work
you
is
would
going
go
on.
out. We
Hit you,
need
hit
that.
you.
Oh, I
Wait.
went out?
Wait. Oh, you're back. Oh, you know what? They said that you're going out for apparently just us, not for them. But I didn't want to hear what you said though. You said I have people who have me on retainer for.
For instance, let's just say, I'll just tell you what the average number is. Like the average number, let's say you don't have too many issues. Let's just say you got a house, a little bit of retirement, you got like a kid.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all arguing a little bit. Can you hear me?
Yes,
Mhm.
I'm laughing at
Okay.
that
So
description.
let's say y'all arguing a little bit. You don't really agree on what maybe dad wants 50-50 as far as like he wants the child to live 1 week with you, 1 week with mom. And mom's like, hell no. They need to be in this house during the week and they can go see you on the weekend. So let's say we arguing about that a little bit and we arguing about the house. To me, that's a very normal divorce. The
Okay.
average person with just normal issues spend about $10,000 on their divorce.
Okay.
If you got even more stuff to argue about, it's
going up.
Oh yeah. So you could put that $10,000 retainer down, but once it's been depleted 75%, you put another $10,000 retainer down and another 10. As long as you want to keep this going. Why people want to keep paying us?
Yeah.
Why? Like, I wouldn't want to pay me. I mean, I have attorneys too. Like, attorneys have attorneys. I have my attorney who handles my business, like does my trademarks. People keep stealing my damn videos on TikTok. I gotta stick my trademark attorney on it.
Girl.
So I have an attorney. I have on retainer too. It don't feel good.
Yeah.
Okay. Me and my husband are currently suing our builder for our home. So attorneys have attorneys. Like, I have attorneys I gotta pay. I don't like paying them. I don't know why they keep wanting to pay me. I don't like it.
Fingering.
They keep on
Yeah.
paying, and I just
Yeah.
keep doing my job.
Hello.
Is there a time where somebody, if they don't file for divorce, but 15 years go by and they haven't lived together, they started new families, are they still tied together?
Absolutely, and it happens all the time. I did a video about that too. I was like, if y'all don't want to be together, break up. It's too risky in the community property state because all that. We also don't have legal separation in Texas. Texas is a very conservative state. It's you either in your marriage or you're out. They don't care that you ain't seen your wife in 10 years. That's your problem. We don't have legal separation here. You can't just separate yourself from each other. It's either you're in it or you out. So yeah, you ain't seen her in 10 years, but guess what? All the stuff you've accumulated them 10 years that you ain't seen her belongs to the community. But if you're gonna at least like do this whole separation thing and not get a divorce to protect yourself, do a posting up at least. Stop the community property from earning. You can put that in a post up that says, hey, from this day on, everything I accumulate is separate property. Do that at the bare minimum, because if you don't have nothing, you have to follow the Texas Family Code, and it's all community. And Lord, don't get sick. Don't end up in the hospital and it's up to her to pull the plug on you because you're gonna be Jamaican.
I ain't seen this dude in 20 years. Man, pull that.
Get him out of there.
I ain't got
You
no
gonna be
time
going
to
to
be
glory?
paying this.
You gonna be going to glory?
Knowing ya.
You're a stranger by now. I don't even know you.
Why would you
Won't
want to
nobody-
put yourself in that situation?
Yeah. That's terrible. That's
You
terrible.
talking about being on your deathbed. You see your ex-wife come in after 20 years.
Surprise,
And you just like,
surprise.
"Oh, no, no."
Right there. Unalive him. Unalive him. Go ahead. It's fine.
Oh, that's terrible.
Now I'm about to email you this right now.
Okay.
Oh my
So
goodness.
just so you can warn your viewers, if they hire
Yes.
somebody good like me, this is what you got coming for you. This was a good mistress subpoena right here. I'm so proud of this one. Let me send it to you.
I can only imagine. This is not even a tip of the iceberg of the things that people got going on. But to run off with your surrogate,
That's insane.
to sue your
You'd have to see them.
cousin for breaking up your marriage, your cousin's wife for breaking up your marriage, and then they move in together.
We don't feel sorry for her though.
Oh no, it's just wild that this is happening. And I complain. I be complaining that my baby be in the shower too long. It's just
There's other.
it's just so many other things in the world happening.
Hello.
I don't
And
know what's wrong with people.
That is how well, we
Here
ain't
it is.
getting
Is it?
moving to
I'm trying to
Texas. I'm
find it to
hiring you.
attach it to this email. Here we go.
That's crazy.
Pull up your email, ma'am, so you could let the people know.
Side note, we're in Texas this weekend for shows.
Oh yeah.
Really?
Yes.
What part?
Yeah. Austin, Dallas, and and Houston.
Mm.
Yep.
I'm gonna be
What
in
part
Houston this weekend. I'm going to a baby shower on Saturday.
Let's see what day that is.
My brother-in-law is Kev on stage. He's a clean comedian, and he's on tour. That's what he's referring to. So they'll be
Oh,
there.
I've never heard of a clean comedian. What's that?
He just doesn't curse, but he talks about everything else.
Everything.
That's the only difference.
Does he
What
not
part of
curse in his
Texas
real
are
life?
you in?
Yeah, he doesn't curse in his real life.
Oh, you in Dallas?
I don't know how he does it, but I love that for him. I'm in Dallas, but I'll be in Houston on Saturday. I'll be in Dallas on Friday, and I'll be in Sunday. But Saturday I'll be in Houston for a baby shower. My best friend's having a baby.
Aw.
Well, I have
Yeah.
Mel text you the info if you and your husband want to come to a comedy show. We'll make that happen.
It's a
Yeah.
good
And we
time.
get to
Yeah.
It's a good
officially
time.
meet.
Yeah.
Mel,
Well,
did
I
you
won't
get
be
this
there.
email?
I'm checking
Oh,
right now.
The
you
comedy
can
show is
read this to
also
your
held in a
guests so they
church.
can know
Okay.
what this is what you have coming for you if you want to, potentially deal with married people.
You sent it to the info at I'm not a lawyer, but
Mm-hmm.
okay. Let me keep looking.
Dang,
Okay.
this community property and people not getting divorced is
Oh, I got
wild
it.
to me. Don't be.
Yes. Okay, so it says Exhibit A, all documents, drafts, memoranda notes, correspondence, text, letters, emails, and the like between you and this
My
person.
client's husband.
Uh-huh. All canceled checks, deposit slips, check registers, withdrawal slips, and receipts, and other canceled items. The fact that you go for the cancel, in case you canceled anything, I want that too, okay? On accounts and deposits in any bank, savings and loan, credit union, or other financial institution, including without limitation, savings account, checking accounts, money market accounts, and/or certificates of deposit reflecting any funds received by you from the
My
client's
client's
husband
husband.
for any purpose, including but not limited to prenatal and postnatal medical care. This was a baby.
Mm-hmm. I want to know how much you spent on your doctor's appointment.
A copy of your social media site page history, including but not limited to Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Google Plus, and YouTube, both private and public content. Even the stuff you got on lock, I want that too. Including but not limited to copies of the following as applicable and however more specifically named by each particular social media provider. In case I
It's a
don't
lot.
specify it, you know what I want that too.
It's a
Profile
lot. I
page,
mean, you can see it's
wall,
5 pages.
photo.
I asked her
Oh, I
for
didn't even
that.
realize it was 5 pages.
I asked her for videotapes.
Wow.
I asked her for text messages. I asked her for emails. I asked her for her phone bill. I asked her for, I mean, how much did he pay for her monthly expenses? Send me your cleaner's bill, your gas, your utilities, your electricity. I want to know how much he spent. I mean, 5 pages of just everything I wanted from her. I mean, it got worse and worse as the pages
I
went on.
did. It did. I didn't realize this was 5 pages. I started on
Yeah.
page 1 like, "Oh, huh, no, this goes on."
Yeah, like
How are
look
they
at
supposed to
14.
provide
That
you with
he bought
all
a
this?
property. They better go get it. If it exists, you have to turn it over. So even if you don't have it in your possession, you got to go get it. So call your bank.
And
Get them on the line.
if I don't go get it, then is that jail?
Compel. Sanctions. No, they don't usually put you in jail, but the penalty, like the fines, are very hefty, like attorney's
Mhm.
fees. You know. And the
Yeah.
thing is, if you don't pay me, I'll put a lien on your property. I'm gonna get it. And all I do is give it back to my
Well.
client because I've been
Mhm.
paid. Remember, there's a trust
Yeah.
account with a retainer in
Yeah.
it. So when I win attorney's fees, I cut the check to my client. I've been paid, so they just getting money back.
Yeah.
My clients are winning. I cut the check to them.
Ciao.
Yeah, it's
Goodness
a nasty
gracious.
world, isn't it?
It is. Well, this has been just lovely. Just lovely.
It's a nasty word.
Before you go though,
Isn't it?
tell us about all the things you have going on because we talked about Serving Scandalous and also you have a podcast as well.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah,
Service Scandalous YouTube channel. So if you want to see me and my husband act a fool, so we have Service Scandalous, the reality show,
yes.
which is also on YouTube, where the camera follows my clients around. My husband does the servings for me. We're in pre-production for season 2 for that, but season 1 is on YouTube. And then in the
Yes.
meantime, we wanted to keep everybody entertained. So that's what we did, our podcast until the new season airs. But of course, follow me on TikTok, Instagram. It's Lauren_the lawyer. If you need a great, awesome family law attorney, my website is laurenTheLawyer.com. And come check me out. I mean, court is open to the public in Texas. You are more than welcome to come to my hearings. I have one tomorrow.
Oh my gosh. If I was
Arguing
coming
about
to the show this
jurisdiction.
weekend, I would go early so that I can go to see
Oh,
this
It's a
that'd be
woman in
cool.
action.
jurisdiction hearing.
And
You know, that one might be a little boring, but we're arguing about jurisdiction because I filed a protective order for my client. Yeah, her ex is very, very abusive. And he doesn't think that he lives in Virginia, she lives here. He wants to bring the case back there. So we're arguing about jurisdiction tomorrow.
Got it. To keep it where you guys are instead of.
I want it right here so I could be the attorney. I'm not licensed in Virginia. So yeah, it's nothing. But I mean, you know, I got some wild stuff coming up next week. Y'all come see.
Yes. Okay. Make sure you guys check out Lauren the Lawyer, all the socials. Check out Serving Scandalous, the podcast, and the reality show. We be kikiing about it in the Patreon. It's a good time. Thank you for joining us. You're so fun. So fun.
Thank you. This is just my life.
I was about to say, we got to keep you coming back every few months to get these new cases.
I know. Wait, so your husband, because last time you were saying that your server had recently retired, and so your husband is doing it for you now?
Only on the show.
Okay.
Only on the show. I want him on the show with me, so he'll do the servings on the cases that are being filmed. But other than that, in my current process server, I still ain't found the one.
Okay.
He ain't with the foolishness like I'm with the foolishness.
Yeah. I was about to say
you need shenanigans.
Y'all seen the videos? I've served people at church.
Yes.
He's not into all of that. I need to find somebody again who's my person who can do what I tell him to do and go where I want him to go.
You need that guy Lupin. Ain't it?
From the show?
From the show. That's always in the disguise.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Always doing crazy stuff. All right. Thank you, man. Appreciate you.
All right. Call me when you need me.
We will. All right.
All right. Bye.
All right. Bye. I ain't complaining about nothing else.
I'm telling you, I need to be that kind of attorney.
Yeah, that seems exciting.
That's just drama and tea all day.
Yeah. Reality
it's just
TV.
Mess.
Reality
but then
TV.
you get to fight for your client. Like you get to fight for, if you feel like they were wronged, like you get to go get their stuff. So that's hilarious. That bit she talked about for the North Carolina case though is so spot on, because I promise you he included that in his lawsuit. So I'm so curious. I need to go check the updates on that case to see if he has an attorney and what they're gonna say. Or I guess he filed it against his cousin, so it would be with the cousin, or Brene even is gonna. She needs a mess. Thank you, of course, again to Lauren for joining us. Again, she is just a great time. Make sure you guys support her, follow her YouTube, and her on all the platforms. She's on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, I'm sure. So make sure you follow. Thank you for joining us for another episode. Until next time.
Court is adjourned.
Also join the no, that is really adjourned. I just wanted to quickly say, I said it at the top, but if you're not in Patreon, join Patreon as well, because we haven't had a trial, but they're coming and it's a good time. All right, that's